this website I recently built for a client, and at the bottom here we've got this key and lock interaction, and the idea is that you can drag this key across to the lock and it opens a microsite where you can take a picture and say hi to Will, this videographer that I made the website for. And the idea is that we just wanted something a little bit different and a bit more fun than just a regular run-of-the-mill website. Now, I'm not saying that regular websites are a waste of time. There's obviously things that are important to get right, like having useful content and, thinking about SEO. And to be honest, this is like an optional extra which isn't entirely necessary, but it's just fun. It's fun to have elements like this on a website that give a sense of joy to the user and just something a little bit unexpected. So if that at all interests, let's have a look at how you can do something like this. Now, first things first, what are the tools? So this website was built in Webflow. The 3D element was done in a tool called Spline. And as you probably saw from this little favicon icon in the top left, this was done in Lovable, it says at the bottom here. So we've got 3 different tools making this whole thing work. So let's start with Spline. Now inside Spline, I'll make there's loads and loads of clonables inside Spline, so you can actually look in here and actually like have a look at something that might be more relevant to your topic. It might not be a key and a lock. It might be, I don't know, a trunk, and inside the trunk you need to find some gold or whatever. But yeah, have a look in the community tab, and then what you can do is you can actually just click on them and remix them. So super handy, but I'll make this one clonable so that you guys can actually use it yourselves. In terms of actually making the different elements, we've literally got the simplest shapes, ellipses, got rectangles that we've cut out with these elements to make the key, and we've just got this long, thin cylinder here. So pretty simple to make your own, but feel free. And then this is actually just an image. It looks 3D because when we actually do the animation, it's moving around, but it's literally just an image. You obviously can build this in 3D as well, but you don't need to. So how do we do all the interactions and animations? As you can see here, we've got key and we've got lock. When I drag the key over, so on click, if I drag this key over to this lock, I want to open a new link. So as you can see in here, once you've clicked on this element, you'll see drag and drop and look at. Now, to set this up, what you'd want to do is to click on events, and then you'll have a load of different options in here. But what's a little bit confusing from this UI is that if you drop down here, you'll see a ton more different optionality. And then you can choose the actions from that. So what you want to do is you go drag and drop, and then you'll see this UI here. Now the cursor, as in what the cursor looks like when you hover over that element, is this hand element. So I want there to be like a grabbing motion. And then this basically determines how fast the movements are. So if I turn this down, it'll be a lot quicker, but I wanted it to be a lot smoother, so I've turned this dampening up. And then you've got relative to world, parent, object. So world is essentially, this is interacting relative to this whole spline scene here. So just keep this on world, and then you've got the drop interactivity, so snap to object position. So let's say if I drag this and then drop it, then it will just stay in that area. And you see how there's a little lag as to when I let go to this kind of floating effect. That's happening because I've got this snap speed set to 5. Again, if you turned it to 0, it would be a lot faster, okay? So we've got a drag and a drop animation happening. And the other thing that you'll notice is we've got a look at animation happening on both the key and the image. So if we go to this key, you see we've got a look at. So I've clicked plus again. I've done a drop down. I've clicked on the drop down and chosen look at. And then I've got this UI here. So align with the camera. The camera is on personal camera. You can change that in here if you want to add a new camera, but this is just, if you click on the scene, you'll see personal camera here. And so as I'm moving the cursor around, the key's shining. And then we've got some other bits and bobs inside of this look at as well. We've got plain dist, and that's just set to 200. Dampening, again, is giving that smooth effect. And the direction, so this axis is going to completely change how the key reacts to the mouse movement. This is why it's going to be flat, which I don't want because that's not very helpful. Whereas Z gives it, for me, it looks more natural to have that plane. That direction of movement. Hover out or reset. So this is when, if I had the mouse in this section and then moved it, you see how it's gone back, but quite slowly. That's because, again, we've got the speed in there. So that's happening on the key. Now, if we click on the lock here, we've got trigger area, start, and look at. Now let's go to trigger area because this is probably the most important one. Now the trigger area is this green box around here. So when I drag the key into this trigger area, the animation happens. Okay, so you see how we've got the size of this box in here. Now I can change this. So if I want the animation to happen when I've dragged the key into a bit of a tighter area, then I can obviously change this box size here. I've got show helper turned on. That's just for inside Spline itself, so you can show, hide. Obviously, it's just helpful to see the helper when you're actually doing the design. And then in actions, I've got open link, so you can just click plus, open link, and then I've got the website that I've built in Lovable. Okay, so and I've set it to new tab. So when this drag effect happens, a new tab opens up here. So all pretty self-explanatory so far, hopefully. Again, that's also got a look at animation, exactly the same as the key one. And then the start is a sound. So there's a click sound that happens when the key is actually dragged onto this lock. And that's just an MP3 that I've just downloaded online. If you just type in like lock sounds, or if you've got CapCut, you can actually just download, you can export the sounds as an MP3, which I'd massively recommend. So yeah, that's basically how this is all happening. Now, in terms of actually like creating a link that someone actually gets to, that's literally just in Lovable. If you haven't used Lovable yet, you can basically do text prompts to create websites. It's super easy to do. I mean, you can essentially just type in the idea that you've got and then iterate, and you can create something. I've got a paid account, so you may have to get a paid account to actually launch your website, because you've got a limit in the number of prompts you can use. But in my opinion, it's well worth it. And then the final part of this puzzle is actually embedding all this on Webflow. So how do you do that? If you go to export, go to viewer, and then you've got this link in here. So we can copy that. And then if we go back to our design, at the bottom here, I've got the footer component. And I've got section footer with the spline scene down here. Now this is set to 100% height and it's fixed. So every single other section is basically floating on top. It's relative. So you can see that if we go to, let's say, one of these sections, you see how down here it says relative Z index 1. That means that it's on top. Whereas every single other, whereas the spline section is fixed. So it's literally fixed to the background. It's underneath all of this at 100% viewport width, 100% viewport height. Which means that when you scroll down on the website, you'll be able to see that underneath, and it looks like the rest of the content's sliding over it. But actually, this has been fixed there the whole time. So, we've got this spline scene fixed. It's 100% height. And you've got this section with 100% viewport width, 100% viewport height, which means that this spline scene is filling the whole section. And then what we've got is some text overlaying that. Super simple, but it's just a bit of a faff to set up and do. But I hope this video helps you actually understand how to get this all working and a little bit of an overview as to how to set this up. In terms of actually making this responsive, that's a whole other thing altogether. Something to note is that when you click this little play icon and click on this resize preview, if you drag this in, then you see that the key and the lock are actually changing size automatically. That will not happen to you unless you've clicked Scene, Responsive, Auto Zoom, Yes. If you have not put that on, that will not happen, which will mean that when you embed this in your project, it won't resize, and suddenly on mobile, you'll be like, where the hell is this thing that I've just spent 2 hours trying to make? So make sure you do that, okay? Like I said, I'll make this spline asset a clonable, so you can actually embed this in your own projects. You can embed this on Wix, Squarespace, Framer, wherever. It doesn't have to be Webflow. Webflow is just my platform of choice. Hope that was really helpful. Now, final thing. If you're interested in getting this type of thing sent out to you every week, I do a weekly newsletter where I send out anything interactive-y in the web design world that I'm interested in, that I'm working on, that I've found useful. So if this type of thing is helpful to you, check out splinetime3d.substack.com. I'll put a link below and you can check that out too. If you have any questions, obviously put some comment below and I might get back to you in the next 12 months. Cheers, bye.